Coach Ring, thank you for, and the rest of the UC San Diego team, thank you for taking time with us at Off the Block and your National Media Day. Coach Ring, why don't you start this off with an opening statement on where your team stands and where the season stands.
Okay, thank you for having myself and a couple of the players here today. Just kind of give a quick kind of recap. I mean, we started up in the fall, and I would say the bulk of our fall training was socially distanced practices. At times, we were kind of in split groups, up to 10 to 12 guys at a time. And I think our focus, even though we're not in a position to play, 6-on-6 volleyball and get to that through that, is still just to maximize every touch, every contact that we could have. So a lot of serve and pass, some attack hitting lines, no blockers, so forth. So we certainly try to maximize, and I very much appreciate the mentality of the players, and they came in and worked really hard each and every day to get better at doing the aspects of volleyball that we were allowed to do. Certainly we got in a little bit of 6-on-6 practice training at the end of the fall, which is kind of nice and kind of a nice bonus for the guys. Since coming back from the holiday break, we were in, again, kind of going back to a socially distanced practice for a little stretch of time and get everyone tested again and make sure we're in good position. And then now starting up, playing some 6-on-6 again. So, all along, the focus has been sort of the health and safety for the players and the staff and everyone involved in terms of testing and in terms of their preparation to be college, scholar athletes and compete at a high level. So everything we're doing with our, weightlifting athletic performance classes to what we do in the practice gym and just trying to make good decisions and keep things going. It's been nice. We have quite a few returners from last year's squad, and all three of the guys on the call today are returners and certainly played a lot for us last year. So, it's been a fun group to work with. And then we have a couple new players in the program, and every year you've got a new dynamic, new team. You lose some guys, you get new guys in the program, and certainly it's a very different school year than normal. These guys aren't able to have sort of the social interaction that they might normally have on a normal year, but I still think there's kind of a close-knit group of guys. A lot of them already knew each other, but even with the freshmen, I think the guys enjoy being in the practice gym and making the most of it there. So I've been pleased with our progress. Every day that we're able to get in and touch the volleyball and play a little, I think it's good for us. And you just try to get a little bit better and maximize what we are allowed to do.
So we'll get to the players and the players that have not or did graduated, but I think the pressing question that we all have on our mind: where does the Big West schedule stand? We haven't really seen any official announcements from the Big West. So is there any news that you can update us with where the schedule stands?
Yeah, I mean, imagine that I think it's definitely getting close, for the conference to be able to kind of announce, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, on a normal year, right? What we do within the Big West. I mean, it's kind of the second week of March when we start conference play, and that's we had that already in place well before the pandemic ever started, and so I think what I anticipate is really mostly playing Big West opponents, whether that's an official conference match or a non-conference match against a conference opponent. So I think we're working through the details and as to when any program could first officially get started. I know each of the schools is a little bit different in terms of when they're starting up their training. So that certainly plays into it as well. So I don't have any sort of official, like, here's our first match, first date. I know the administration has met numerous times, talking about, and certainly our sport of men's volleyball amongst certainly the other Big West sports as well. And looking at how a schedule is going to be put together. And certainly there's, testing and travel and, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So we appreciate the administration's efforts to give us a season that we're all looking for, but to do it in a manner that's going to be as equitable as we can for all teams involved, and certainly keeping everyone healthy along the way.
Thank you, Coach. And media members, if you have a question, just let me know in the chat. First question for our player, Shane. You had a really breakout year last year in terms of your blocks per set and in terms of your hitting percentage. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I'd love to claim that all as myself, but I think the great thing about that stat is just if my hands are over the net and we get a block, they're counting it for me as a middle. So we had a lot of great pin blockers last year that attributed to that. I think we just worked really hard in the gym. We make a lot of block reps in practice, and yeah, I think just increasing my vision on the court was a big thing for me last year with blocking and hitting. I think I was able to focus more on seeing where the hitter was looking and just trying to keep my eyes posted instead of looking down on the floor when I'm blocking. We did get one embarrassing picture of me doing that last year, but yeah, I saw a lot of improvement last year with that. And then just attack wise, made a lot of great reps with our setters. We're definitely missing Connor Walbrecht from last year, who was a great asset for us, delivered a lot of great sets. But yeah, I'm excited for our setters this year. We got a lot of talent in our gym, so hopefully we can just keep improving on that.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions from meeting members. So let's start with Brandon, and then we'll go to Rob.
Hey boys, I'm Brandon Johnson. I help out with Off the Block as well. I guess this question is probably for Wyatt, but it could be for anyone. So you guys, one of your strengths is going to be the experience that you guys return and the upperclassmen that you have. However, almost every program now is returning nearly everyone because of COVID. So talk to us a little bit about what it means to have the experience returning in your gym, and then how you're going to be able to incorporate new players into that as well.
Yeah, I definitely think there are a lot of older, mature teams this year, and it was definitely, I think last year, that was one of the biggest improvements for us, was just a lot of younger guys that got more experience. And that just, I think, pays off huge in like big game time, like close matches, decision making, just like being comfortable, kind of making the right decisions, and plays a huge part in the mental game, I think. As far as everyone kind of staying, for a lot of older teams, I mean, it's all the same guys we've been playing with for years. I mean, from club until now. So it's good. I mean, the level overall is going to keep being really high, which I think is a good thing. But hopefully a lot of good, solid, like mental game, volleyball, just all around. But it definitely should be one of our strengths this year that I think will pay off in a couple different ways.
Rob, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Rob Aspero with a few different places, Viral Volley Podcasts, Volleyball Magazine, and just a strong follower of the game. But first of all, congratulations to Scott Flanders on your ABCA Media Award last year. Even though it was a shortened season, you guys got a lot of attention, and a lot of good stuff was coming out of your office. I know it was by your hand and those endless hours that you work. So appreciate all the information you've been putting out there.
Thanks so much, Rob. Really appreciate that. And, you know, these guys make it pretty easy to do all this stuff, especially when we have a season like we did last year. So.
Well, I wanted to ask, any of the guys wanted to take it, but, 14-5 overall record last year, and you had excellent momentum going into the rest of the season. Brandon actually mentioned that Connor Walbrecht not coming back, but what's the offense going to be like coming up, adjusting to a new setter? Because a lot of chemistry is involved in what you guys are doing last year. You had so much fire and great chemistry on the court that was able to get you guys to push over the top in those tight circumstances in matches. What's in store for the Tritons this year with a new quarterback at the helm? Did I scare everyone?
I'm assuming that question wasn't for me.
You're the media guy. Come on, answer. No.
Well, why don't we let's start off with Kyle on that.
Sweet. Yeah, I think going back to Wyatt's question too, just the chemistry and the trust that we have with each other in the gym day in and day out is really going to contribute to this next season. I really hope we plan on picking up right where we left off with that. And I think it's going to be a big contributing factor with our success.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle. I wanted to, give you a chance to jump in since Shane and I had already said something. But yeah, I mean, our offense might look a little different. Like our setters they're not like carbon copies of each other. So it won't be Connor Wahlberg setting, but it'll be someone that we've gotten a lot of reps with, and hopefully just build that chemistry over time and looking to run a good offense, even if it's not exactly the same thing that we've seen in past years.
All right, and we have a question from Tiff Wells. Go ahead, Tiff.
Tiff Wells with ESPN Honolulu, the voice for Rainbow Warrior Volleyball. My question is for you, Wyatt. I want to keep this fun. You're born and raised on Kauai. Do you miss surfing without having to wear a wetsuit when you go surfing in San Diego?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I try as much as I can to not wear a wetsuit, but it gets too cold sometimes. I definitely miss it. It's a hassle putting the wetsuit on. But yeah, definitely a big bonus of Hawaii. I love being able to do that whenever I go back.
Coach Ring, I don't want to put you on the spot, but since we're talking about breaking a new setter, have you committed to naming a new starter?
No, I mean, we haven't gotten to that point. We haven't, really named any starters at any of the positions yet. Certainly we know the experience of guys that we have coming back, and guys that played last year, started a lot for us last year. So we're certainly looking at those guys to, be veteran players for us and provide some good minutes for us on the court. But we're still, with the sort of the structure of our training and very limited, I guess, in a lot of ways. We're just kind of getting into a little 6-on-6 again. You certainly want to be able to allow sort of the competitive nature to play out. I think we've got obviously two returning setters, Blake Crisp and Will Campbell. Blake got a little bit of time later last year. Will redshirted for us, and then Andrew Boyle, a freshman setter. And so, as kind of Wyatt and Kyle kind of alluded to, no two setters are going to run the offense exactly the same. We're not expecting them to, but we certainly want to have some themes of where are our strengths. What can this group of attackers do well for us, and so we want to make sure that we maximize that. And so over hopefully the next few weeks of training, if we keep this going with good 6-on-6 volleyball, are we in a position to really kind of get to the point? Okay, and usually my goal by the end of fall every year is like, who's our likely starting lineup? Who are the top, 7, 8, 9 guys to be likely starters? Who are the top, 14, 15, 16 guys likely to be suiting up and traveling and so forth? And obviously this year was a very unconventional year in terms of our training block and what we're able to do and evaluate players with the limited reps. So we're kind of just getting to that later, but also our season starting later. So we'll see when our first match actually occurs. But over the next few weeks, we want to be able to, kind of finalize or have it kind of established kind of who the top guys are at each of the positions, including the setter position.
Thank you, Coach. We have a few more media questions. Let's start with Rob, and then we'll go to Tiff, and then to Brand.
I actually answered a little bit of my question, but with the uncertainty of what the schedule is going to look like, be it 2 conference matches or 2 conference and 1 non-conference in the Big West, what does the management of your lineup, what kind of philosophy are you going to take? Because we've seen some matches occur in the, with EIVA and MIVA teams already where, they've totally retooled their lineups in the matches they've been playing. What do you have a game plan to try and get some guys, some other experience, plug some new combos in there, move some people around? Obviously we're still waiting on a decision, but if it ends up being a 3 or 4 match series against each team in the Big West. What's that going to look like for UC San Diego and the development of your program?
Yeah, I mean, those are things that, I've already been thinking through. I think a lot of it will come down to what the actual competition looks like on a given week. Are we playing just 2 matches in a week? Are we maybe playing 3 matches? Is that 3 matches? Is that 3 matches in a row? And that's a lot of wear and tear on guys, in a 3-day period there. So I think once I have a better idea, or once we know what the schedule is going to look like, then you kind of adjust from that. Certainly we want to be competitive in every match. You step on the court, we're trying to win. We'll see ultimately how many matches, we plan for. So certainly, the conference schedule, and then if we're mixing in some non-conference matches with Big West opponents, and how many ultimately we end up getting to play, will have an effect on kind of lineup type situations there. So I think a lot of that, I appreciate that question. And I think a lot of it will come down to, I'll better be able to kind of map that out once we kind of know who we're playing, when we're playing, how early, how many matches in a week. Certainly, last year, just the way the season mapped out, we were very heavy in matches in the month of January. I think we had a couple of weeks where we played 3 matches in a week, and the conference tournament for the Big West is set up to play 3 matches in a week if you're not the 1st or 2nd seed. So, those are things that we go through. But, in the end, obviously we want to have, a great experience for all the guys in the program. We didn't get a fall season. We normally play, a couple weekend tournaments in the fall and get everyone some time on the court and mix guys through. So we didn't get that opportunity there. So it's just going to be, I think, a balance between, stepping into a Big West conference match, trying to be as competitive as we can. But I'm also confident it's, hey, we'll have a starting lineup, but there's other guys that are going to be able to contribute for us as well. And whether that's a serving sub guy coming in, another outside opposite, I mean, we've got some depth, and we want to make it competitive. But we want to make sure that, obviously overall, there's still a great experience for the student athletes.
Yeah. Can I ask a follow to the athletes? Because I've spoken to a few coaches already, but for the athletes on screen, do you favor a 2, 3, or potentially a 4 match series based on this weird time in history with no competition for almost a year?
Honestly, whatever the Big West decides, I will be fine with it. As long as we have a season and we have scheduled games, I'm going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I got to agree with Kyle on that one. Anything they can give us, we'll definitely take. It looks like basketball is going right now, and they have to cancel some games for some reason. So maybe if we get a little bit more and that ends up happening, maybe it's a little better. But like you said, anything we can take, just wanting to play some volleyball.
Tiff, go ahead.
My question's for you, Kyle. Not many times do newcomers have the type of individual success that you did. Of course, first team All-American and newcomer of the year. Both Wyatt and Shane talked about kind of the team culture as to why you guys had a lot of success. But for you individually, what made you think, or why do you think you had such great success last season? And how do you move forward here in 2021?
Yeah, definitely team culture. I would attribute to that. I think all those accolades and achievements are great, but when I'm going into games and going into seasons, I don't have a mindset of, okay, I need to get a certain amount of kills to be able to achieve this award. It's all about winning, and then the achievements just follow along. But yeah, with Shane and White on the court too, it makes it a lot easier.
And then Brandon, I believe you also have a question for Kyle.
Yeah, it kind of goes along the same lines. Kyle is obviously making such a big impact transferring in from a junior college to, the level that you played last year. What's it going to take for you to continue to make another step forward? And then what's it like to have, another pin like Wyatt that kind of takes some pressure off of you, that you don't have to be the only number 1 option there on the court?
Yeah, Wyatt helps a lot. more than I'd like to admit. But yeah, it's just about keeping a competitive environment inside the gym, because it's definitely not just me that's contributing to that environment. It's the entire team. Like, just to name a few, Bryce and Maddie, they pretty much piss me off every single day because they're just constantly yapping at you, and you could ace them 5 times in a row and they could dime one pass, and it's just, they just won the entire world. So yeah, it's definitely all about our team, and definitely prioritizing the team instead of individual.
I have 2 more questions for the players. I'll start with Shane. You're upperclassman, so you seen the team really go from being a lower conference team to the upper echelon team, and also you've seen the team or the school become a Division I school all around. The program's been Division I for a while, but the school now is completely Division I. So my question is about expectations, because of the great season last year, and because the school is totally Division I program wide. Do you feel like there's going to be more of a more expectation to continue the success?
I think the biggest thing is just the confidence that we bring into it. I'm sure with the preseason polls and the rankings, there's kind of that expectation for us to be at the same spot as last year. But I think the best thing that we can do as a team is to just bring the confidence from last year, but not to just roll into this season expecting that we're going to be as good as we were before. We're still going to have to work hard for it. And just as I've seen everybody develop over the past few seasons, and just our team culture develop, I've just been super impressed with the mindset that we've all had of just never being satisfied with the success that we have, just always wanting more, and to grow as volleyball players and just as teammates. So yeah, I think there will be that level of expectation for us to reach the same spot as last year, but I just think that we're going to be able to bring some confidence, and as we're walking into the gyms this year, and yeah, I just think it's going to be great for us. I know we're not going to have, we're not going to let the pressure get to us, but we're just going to have a fun time like we always do.
Thank you. And final question for the media day, I'll send it to Wyatt. Since you, I believe, are the elder statesman of the squad, besides missing graduating at Sutter last year, you graduated your starting libero, Ryan Liu. Can you tell us what he meant to the team, and how do you guys plan on filling that void?
Yeah, Ryan Liu was huge for us last year. We had a nickname for him. Someone's parent came up with the name The Nucleus. He was very much like kind of at the core of our success. He was a phenomenal passer. I think he didn't get a lot of credit that he deserved. He's for sure, I think, one of the best passers in the country, and like just kept us in system all the time. We have well, he's now a junior, Matt Palma, probably stepping into that role, who's been like huge improvements and playing really well. And I know like Ryan helped him out a lot, kind of helped prepare him for that. So definitely missing Ryan in the gym for sure. But I think Maddie's got some shoes to fill, but I think he's going to bring a lot of energy and put in a lot of work to do that. So I think hopefully we can look to have passing be another strong suit this year, even without Ryan.
Thank
John,
you.
Oh, sorry, John, if you don't mind, I mean, just to even add to that, and, you know, and to reiterate kind of Wyatt's point, and with Ryan Liu, and, you know, how good he was for us last year. And, you know, certainly there's a lot of really good passes around the league. And, I really believed in many ways, and obviously Kyle and Wyatt were our primary starting outside hitters last year. So they're out there passing along with Ryan Liu. And so I really believe that, the combination of the three of them together were as good a passing trio that I kind of saw, based on, all the matches that we were able to play in last year before the season was canceled. And so with Matt Palma, it's, I think he's done a tremendous job of, maturing as a volleyball player in terms of his ownership of what he needs to do as a passer, and then as our kind of leader of the defense. And so I've been real excited to see, and I've had conversations with him to see his development. And I know he's excited and ready, kind of to fill that void. And this happens with every team out there, right? You have very good players in your program, and guys graduate and move on. And it's kind of the next guys coming up. And as Wyatt said, I think Ryan Liu and Matt Palma had a good working relationship as two liberos, both competing hard. And I think Matt learned a lot from Ryan, and he's got his own style of his game. And as Kyle could attest, he likes to talk a little bit in practice. And so we certainly appreciate that kind of energy. And I said, hey, don't eliminate that. Be yourself, but there's a sort of a quote seriousness that we're asking of you to be a guy that could very well be on the court for us all the time. Right. And so I think he's kind of taken that and run with it. So I very much appreciate that, and appreciate Wyatt's comments there about, Ryan Liu and what now Matt Palmer is doing for us.
Thank you, Coach. Kyle, did you, if my timing's correct, did you play with Matt in high school?
Yeah, I did. Just as annoying back then as he is now. Yeah.
Nice. All right. On that note, we'll end the media day. Thank you. We thank you all for joining us, especially Coach Ring and the players. And Scott, we thank you for sending all this stuff with the players and the coaches. I will be posting this hopefully later today. And we wish you all the best of luck in this season. Stay safe, and we look forward to a great 2021 season.